Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic, and welcome back to the channel. This, guys, is another movie review. Today we're tackling the new DC film, or the DCEU film, The Suicide Squad. Now, I have a little theater experience to tell you in the end, and another little thing in the end too, so stick around for that. But hey, if you like this gameplay of Lego DC Supervillains in the background, you like my gameplay, you like my review, or you just like my content in general, and you're not subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really does help me, and makes the channel grow, and you'll be able to see my content whenever I post it. So yeah, moving into the Suicide Squad, though, the review. This movie freaking rocks, man. This movie rocks. Now listen. I love Suicide Squad 1. I know, you're probably going to dislike, you're probably going to want to crucify me, whatever. It's not a perfect film, but I really enjoy Suicide Squad, particularly the extended cut. But Suicide Squad 1 was a really good movie. Birds of Prey, the technically, quote-unquote first R-rated film in the DCEU, pretty good. I have a few issues with it, but, for the most part, I love all of the DCEU films. They're really, really well-made films for the most part. And I do think that Suicide Squad 1 was really good. But The Suicide Squad, of course, the new one, technically the second in this franchise, directed by James Gunn, who did Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2 and Slither and a few other things. Like I said, this movie freaking rocks. And again, I'm not saying this movie's better than the first one, because it is. But, I'm not saying that the first one was horrible. It was very good. This one just happens to be better. I think a lot of the consensus online is people going, "Oh, this movie, the first one sucked ass, but this one's going to be really good." I'm not a sheep. And you don't have to like Suicide Squad 1, but this is just my real opinion. I enjoyed the first one a lot. And the second one, effing rocks. I do think I have a few issues. Again, this is going to be hopefully a non-spoiler review. I'm going to try not to spoil anything, but it is on HBO Max. It's in theaters, so hey, if you like the DCEU films and you like, DC in general, good comic book films, go see it. It's really fun. This is R-rated, though. Do not take a kid. Do not take a teenager. This is for adults only, and I have a story about that at the end with my theater experience. But anyway, this movie, let me freaking tell you, man, this is so good. So I'm going to start off with the negatives, just so I can get because there's too much good in this film. I'm just going to start with the negatives first, without spoiling. I think some of again, this is R-rated, so, there's a lot of swear words. So, and again, there were a lot of swear words in Birds of Prey, but this one is really, really heavied up with the word fuck. Okay, I'm just going to tell you that. I'm not sure. They say fuck like 55,000 times. And look, I'm a straight dude. I don't care about that word. Right? I'm a man. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, the F word. No, I don't care. But at the same time, there is a line that I draw, and there was one instance in this film where a character's like, F you, no F you, no F you, no F you, no, and I'm like, shh, can I, really? Like, James Gunn is a very good director and a very good writer, right? From what I understand, he wrote the first two Guardians, so I know he directed them, but I'm pretty sure he wrote them too. The script for Guardians 1 and 2, again, those are PG-13 films, still not for children, again, teenagers up, but, they're not definitely kid-friendly films. This is definitely not hell, it's not even a teenage-friendly film. But the fact that it's, I don't know, man, there's something about these new R-rated films, and again, I'm not trying to sound like an old grandma here, but, like a Mary Poppins boomer, but at the same time, the F word, it doesn't bother me, but there are certain scenes in this film, and even in, like, Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2, it's just F that, F that, F. There's a moment where it's like, Jesus Christ, can we stop saying the word fuck for, like, 1 second, please? Like, there's more words in the dictionary, you know what I mean? For God's sake, James Gunn's a very good writer, and that's just like, oh, it's R-rated, so we gotta say the F word every sentence, And it's not every sentence, but, it sure as heck feels like it, and look, it just gets old, it doesn't, that's not me taking a point off. I'm not even going to put it a point off for this. It's just my, I'm not saying the F words are a bad thing in the film. This is not a negative critique. It's just my personal opinion, which again will not impact the score of this review. But I do think that it, I don't know, like I said, I'm a dude. I don't care, me and my buddies, I'm not saying swearing is good, but, it's a word, big deal. And they just say it so much, and especially this one scene with blood sport, and someone else, I'm trying not to spoil it, it just goes on, and you're like, Jesus Christ, can we move on from this? But other than that, the language doesn't bother me. It's not that bad, but there's a lot of F words. especially in this one scene, and it just got to a point where it's like, really, that's kind of dumb. Other than that, I do think this is predominantly a comedy. I think this is, if anything, this is a comedy action. And there's a lot of funny moments, but there are some moments that weren't that funny. They dragged out a joke. There were a few people laughing behind me in the theater, but this scene, and this isn't a spoiler because you don't know when it takes place. But Harley Quinn's fighting a bunch of guys, and she bashes some guy's head on like a gate, like a metal gate, going like bang, 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 like 6 times. And it was funny for like 1 second, but she keeps going bang, bang. So it's like, okay, all right, let's go. I get it's funny, haha. Let's move on. So there's a few jokes that just not are funny to me. I did laugh a lot. This is a very funny movie, but there were again 1 or 2 jokes that kind of fell flat for me. Other than that, other than the personal stuff, I really can't think of too much wrong with this film. There was a moment in the plot where I was really confused. Because, without spoiling it, you're following the Suicide Squad, right? You're following them on a mission. And then there's another character, a female character, who kind of branches off, gets captured. And she kind of meets a dude, and they kind of, quote-unquote, fall in love. I think they kind of had a good thing going where it's like, oh, maybe this character will find love like she did with another character in the same universe. Maybe this is like her redemption. No, she shoots him. She just kills him. I'm like, okay, whatever, okay. But it wasn't that. It's not like it was bad. It was just kind of poorly executed because you have this really intense stuff in the jungle with the Suicide Squad, and then you go to this scene where like this one lady's just talking with a dude, and they're having like some romantic plot, and then she just kills him, and it's like, I know why she did it, and I know, but it kind of felt off. And when you watch the rest of the movie, you understand why that character did it. He's not really that important of a character. He just kind of wanted this girl to kind of get in with the Americans. There's a lot of American dialogue in this film. But, other than that, I was sitting there. I'm like, this is effing horrible. Like, I was like, this is literal garbage. Because you know me, I don't trust critics. I trust myself. And I guess I am kind of a critic now, but I trust myself. And, you hear online, oh, it's 96% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's a great movie. Best DC movie ever, And it's getting all this high praise, and I'm sitting there in the theater, and I'm like, this is shit. Like, this is really bad. Like, this is really poorly made. Like, all of a sudden, it's a love triangle with his character. Oh, he's dead. So, there's that element to it. Again, small docking point only because it really is a disconnect from the rest of the film thematically. I understand why James Gunn added it. I understand why it's there, but it's too little, too late. It's not really, like, this one character isn't in that quote-unquote subplot or sub-character arc a whole lot, and by the time it's over, you're like, oh, did that happen? Okay. Because this is, I don't know, 2 hours 17, 2 hours 20, but it felt like a really long film. Like 5 hours long, and that's a good thing because it was very entertaining. But other than that, that was it. The negatives. I think that there's a subplot in there that's really weird. Some of the humor's a bit off, and again, the personal F-word thing. But that's not a negative really. But other than that, this movie is great, man. James Gunn is a really good writer, except for just F in like that one scene. But the writing is pretty good. I think that the CGI is pretty good. The CGI in this film is not photoreal, but it isn't bad. Because you get this giant starfish, right, Starro, kind of blowing up this city. And, what do you expect a giant friggin' starfish to look? We don't have any reference. So it looks kind of effed up and weird. But that's the point. It's not trying to be photoreal like Batman v Superman or, like imagine if Man of Steel, or I don't know, Shazam, and they just look really and I guess Shazam does look kind of weird, but, like good CGI, like if they had Avengers Endgame and Thanos looked like, frickin' Barney, it wouldn't look weird, Starro looks kind of cute, I know he's a giant starfish, but, he doesn't look that imposing. But with that said, I do think the CGI looks good. Again, just a bit of a caveat, you do need to understand that this is a DC film. It's not trying to take itself uber seriously. There's that fight scene where Harley Quinn's kind of beating up people and there's flowers everywhere. Look, the flowers aren't actually there in the room. It's like Harley Quinn's mind is making that happen because she's freaking crazy. But, so there's little things like that. You just need to kind of roll with it. It's like a James Gunn thing. It's very smart. I think this is a very smart movie. There's a lot of really good scene transitions where, Rick Flag will be like, all right, team, we're going to go and do this. And then it'll show like a beach, right? And the beach, there'll be like sticks on the beach, and it'll say like later or meanwhile Harley or stuff like that. I think that's really cool that they're kind of playing with the environment more. There's a scene where they mentioned this big fight and then the camera rises above the words, and it's just like a bunch of scrap metal in a junkyard. It just so happened to form the words they wanted. So, it's pretty cool. I think that's pretty creative stuff. Again, CGI pretty good across the board. Nothing crazy, nothing horribly bad, nothing spectacularly perfect. Something from, I don't know, The Rise of Skywalker, but it does looks good enough. I think that the acting is very good. Ratcatcher 2, there were one or two moments where I felt she wasn't delivering her line correctly. There's one cheesy moment, and I don't even remember, but it was probably a spoiler. But it was cheesy. One line only, but it did make me cringe a little. Harley Quinn's good. I think there's that scene, I can't really say it, but there's a scene where a character dies, because there are characters that die. James Gunn says it. Everyone's on the table. Harley Quinn can die. X can die. X can die. Look, anyone can. So do not go into this movie thinking that your favorite character is safe, because chances are they're going to freaking die. And I'm not telling you who dies, but a lot of people do. Quite early on, quite shockingly, quite gruesomely, but, stuff happens. And there's one character that has a spear. There you go. And kind of entrusts it to Harley, because you see her with the spear in the trailer, so you know what's going on there. And it just so happens that, it's just kind of a corny moment where, maybe he likes her, maybe, there's one or two moments that are just kind of cheesy, kind of weird, kind of just like out there a little bit. But other than that, it's a really fun movie. The action scenes are awesome. Again, this is R-rated, not just for language. There's really no sex. There's sex jokes, but, violence and gore. If you thought Deadpool 1 and 2 were gory and bloody, this movie just effing amps that up to 1,000,000. It really is gory. And I'm not saying, horror gore where you're going to throw up, but I mean, it's not, this is not, it's worse than Deadpool, it's worse than Joker, it's worse than Logan, maybe even like Watchmen, Punisher. It's very gory. People get ripped in half, heads come off, blood and gore everywhere, people get splattered. It's very much a gory film. And for me, I didn't mind that. I don't really care. It's all fake anyway. But, I think a lot of people were mad that Suicide Squad 1 wasn't R. And look, you don't need a movie to be R-rated to be good. If Deadpool was PG-13, which, hey, they did that actually works. Venom was PG-13, and it works. Suicide Squad 1, PG-13, it worked. This is R. And it kind of doesn't make sense, because Harley Quinn's saying F this, and there's gore everywhere, and there's sex jokes, and then there isn't that much of that in the other films with her in it. It's kind of weird, like, oh, you just didn't want to do that time? It's so the whole PG-13 and R rating thing in the same universe really doesn't make a whole lot of friggin' sense, if you ask me, because it just raises more questions, like how come there wasn't blood in that one, or they didn't say the F word in that one that much. I don't know. But other than that, I think it was a very fun movie. I think the action scenes are great. The storytelling is great. The character arcs are not that deep. They're not as deep as like something in Batman v Superman. But it definitely is. There's a few moments where I can guarantee you the people in my theater had even my mom, no idea. No idea. And I had explained to her. I was like, oh, that's what this is. And she was like, oh, okay. So I wonder if one of my buddies is going to see it. I'll have to ask him if he caught that. But there's a character arc between Bloodsport and Ratcatcher 2 that's, probably going to go over a lot of people's heads. It didn't me, because I'm a smart little boy, but I do think that it was pretty well handled, I think. But other than that, it's a fun movie. It's very fun. It's energetic. I think the beginning is really good because you kind of start off, because we've already seen Suicide Squad 1, so we know the whole gist, Amanda Waller, the bomb in the neck, she'll blow you up, whatever. So we know that crap already. So I like that James Gunn, he doesn't treat the audience like we're, a bunch of stupid monkeys at a lab, We know what's going on. We're not stupid. Let's do the movie. And he starts off right away with the movie. Amanda Waller's back. She was, of course, in Suicide Squad 1. And, look, she's great. She has even more details in this film. There's one scene, because, you can look at Amanda Waller in the first one and this one and just kind of assume that she's, an asshole just because she is, and she's the cool girl, But there's more to just being the cool girl in this film, right? There's one scene in particular where she's kind of... this isn't a spoiler, because it's not. But she's golfing, right? In her office, she, has a little cup on the ground, and she's golfing. She's like, oh, I have to meet my son because we're going to be, or whatever. We meet a family member because we're golfing, and I'm going to look like an idiot. That one scene was really cool to me, because it showed that she's not just a narcissistic a-hole 24/7. She has a life outside of work, and she does care about her family. So that was kind of neat to see. One little scene did that for me. But yeah, other than that, again, I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, it's perfect, but it's pretty much perfect. I mean, look, I think Man of Steel is great. Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition is perfect. Suicide Squad is great. Wonder Woman's okay. Birds of Prey is good. Shazam is okay. Wonder Woman 84, still need to see it. And then, what else? Yeah, I don't know, freaking Aquaman's perfect. So yeah, I mean, you know, basically the internet will say Wonder Woman's the best thing since sliced bread, and this is really good too. Suicide Squad sucks, don't even watch it. Me, I'm kind of the complete opposite, but I did enjoy this film. I think, again, it's very fun, very energetic, very funny at times, very high energy, a lot of creativity in the shots and in the editing, really cool there. Again, just a few of there's one scene with the F words that are kind of just, okay, let's move on. And then, of course, there's this one little subplot that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, and it kind of disconnects from the original plot. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. I'm probably going to give the Suicide Squad an A-. I think it was very well done. I really enjoyed it. It was, again, I like Suicide Squad 1, but this one was more fun to watch. It's just the aesthetic, the James Gunn feel. You know, David Ayer and James Gunn are very different directors, and they both do a good job of what they were doing, but James Gunn just happened to make a more fun, chaotic, and just more enjoyable film to watch. So, again, maybe I can see it on HBO Max with my parents at home. Again, who knows? Maybe I'll even go to the theater. I don't know. But I do want to plan on seeing Snake Eyes soon, so look forward to that, hopefully. But, yeah, without spoiling it, tell me in the comments what you thought about the Suicide Squad. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Again, I don't think it's perfect, but I do think it's one of the better DCEU films that we've gotten. Better than Wonder Woman, better than Shazam, better than Birds of Prey. And, again, I like those films, but this one just happens to be more energetic and more fun and more enjoyable. So, again, I really enjoyed it. I can't wait to hopefully maybe we'll get another one. Who knows? You know, there is a post-credit scene, so make sure to stay after that. I think there's... yeah, there definitely is something that you want to see, trust me. But, again, without spoiling it, tell me what you thought. Again, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe. I do movie reviews all the time, as well as other stuff, tributes, reaction video, or not reaction, I used to do that. Discussion videos, Lego unboxings, discussions, whatever, Ninjago videos, anything you could pretty much think of. Reactions I can't do. My computer sucks. I'll try to get it going. Who knows? But anyway, Suicide Squad, very good movie, and it really, I knew it was going to be good from the trailers, but it really shocked me. There's a lot of really good moments. It's funny, it's action-packed, it's dramatic, it's got a really good story, it's got a pretty good meaning when you piece the things together, pretty good character arcs, and again, this is R-rated. So again, we're going to end this video, A-, but if you want to stick around, I do have a little quick story for you guys. So it's really quick. We were in the theater, and again, this is an R-rated film, meaning, again, look, asterisk here. I'm the only person in the world that actually follows the effing MPAA guides. If a movie's rated PG, in my opinion, you gotta be 10 years old. PG-13, 13. R, 17, right? That's what I do. And I know there are some PG-13 movies that are, you know, not as bad, or same with R, P, you know, I get it. But, generally I follow, if it's rated PG, you gotta be 10, right? That's just how I roll. Depends, of course, you know, I'm not saying it's dealing in absolutes, but you know what I'm saying. So again, this is R-rated, you know, very much adults only. I walk in and there's a, I don't know, 6 or 8-year-old little girl. First of all, why? Like, what the fudge? Within the first 5 minutes of the movie, someone's face blows off. You hear about 15 fucks, and then there's a little bit of some sex jokes. And if you think that's okay for an 8-year-old, or however old she was, not only are you a horrible person, you're a horrible parent. Just putting that out there. That's just the truth. And thankfully, they did leave about after the 900th F word, and after the 15th person got shot in the head. They left about halfway through the film. And look, I don't know if it was the dad or the brother, but it's disgusting. It's gross. You know me, I don't think Star Wars is for kids. I don't. I think it's for 13 or 14 up, which is a teenager, not a little baby kid. And a little baby kid was watching this film. You know, I think instead of watching the Suicide Squad, she should have been watching Barney or, you know, maybe SpongeBob, I don't know, My Little Pony, Lego Friends, something for little girls. Not a manly, mature-rated film, but whatever, it is what it is. Again, I just thought that was kind of funny. You know, I saw Infinity War, which again is not for kids. It's PG-13, but you know, when Thanos snaps Loki's neck, there was a little girl going, "Yay, he's dead!" And I'm like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "What kind of parents do you have?" You know. Anyway, it's one of my pet peeves when I see a kid not old enough watching a movie. To me, it just reflects on how poor the parenting is. But other than that, it's my little story. And if you've had any crazy theater experiences that are, of course, are family friendly, nothing, you know, no one died, hopefully, you know, no shootings. That's what I mean. If you have a theater story that's clean, like this one, just some kid that was watching an R-rated film, tell me in the comments. It's sad, but it's also kind of funny. Thank God they left. But I mean, she's probably already demonetized, but who knows? That family went. Anyway, I enjoyed this film. Again, A-. Hopefully you enjoyed my little theater story. I just had to tell you because it's pretty funny. Anyway, again, if you want to see me do more movie reviews, make sure to tell me in the comments. Hopefully I'll be doing Snake Eyes soon, and I can't wait to review more movies. And yeah, The Suicide Squad was really, really fun. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.